Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today, by request of a couple people actually, requested me to paint a clematis flower. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to begin with a rough sketch, and I'm using a photo from the website Paint My Photo. The photo's by Nicola B, and I will put a link in the video description so you can find that as well. So I've got this kind of like Morphe oval here, and I'm drawing lightly with a watercolor pencil. You can use whatever you want. A regular pencil will be fine. I can draw a little bit darker with a watercolor pencil and have you see it and still have my lines not be visible when I'm done. So I'm just going to get the center of the flower in here, and then I'm going to put my petals on, and we got some foreshortening because we have like we're not looking at this straight on. This is part of the Love Summer Art event on YouTube. This is my third video for this. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of people have really upped their game and put some really wonderful video content out in the craft and art kind of space on YouTube, and so it's been a lot of fun this weekend checking it out. It's been a very dreary weekend in Maine, so it's been nice to see that lovely summery art coming in my feeds, and you can search hashtag #LoveSummerArt and find all of these videos I am talking about. Yeah, I'm just drawing the petals as I see them around. Nothing too fancy here. This is more of a ruffly one. Sometimes you have the clematises in there much more, the petals are smaller. I like this one because it was really ruffly and pretty. But of course, you know, if you prefer a different flower, you can use the same techniques and do that as well. I'm going to put a leaf here, fairly smooth leaf, the stem. And I think I'm going to put a bud over here, even though it's not how it is in the photo. I want to do that, so that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I can't tell if it's a bud or if it's one that's gone to seed, actually. That's why it's really good if you can get out into a garden and paint from life, because then you can really see what things are and what time of year it is and whether the flowers are going to seed or blooming. I'm going to do a background, so what I'm going to do is wet my background paper. I'm using a number 8 Neptune. I haven't used this brush yet. It's one of my the ones from that Total Awesome score that I got at Michael's when I was in Springfield last month. Holy cow, I got some really great Neptune brushes, like for like 75 to 80% off. It was incredible. I'm going to use my core watercolors today. Use whatever you want. I just haven't used them in a while, and I thought I'm gonna get those puppies out. I kind of like how the that pigment just kind of floods into the background a little bit. It's fun. I like to do my backgrounds first usually. You wouldn't even need to put a background. This photograph I'm looking at has an absolutely white background. So, you know, you do what you want. I like backgrounds generally, so that's what I'm going to do. It's completely up to you. I think I'll use maybe a little bit of this cobalt. Just want some soft edges back here. A little bit of a little of this green gold maybe, because it's almost yellow. It's kind of summery. Maybe I'll mix the two together and see what kind of green I get. Let's see, green gold plus cobalt. I think it's going to be kind of like, oh, it's pretty. It's a pretty green. Get some of that in there too. Just let it float about. I like to get most of my colors I plan on using into the background. All the ones I think I'm going to use, I'll get in the background. Sometimes I have to go in with something else, you know, and I realize that after the fact, but I like to get them all in there so my painting has harmony. A lot of fun projects planned this week. But today is a beach day. I just wanted to get this up before I left. I think I want to get some of that. I think I'm going to want some of that purple in my background too. It can suggest some faraway flowers. Maybe a little bit of that quinacridone rose. I got all the introductory sets of the core watercolors when they came out. I started with a high chroma set because I prefer brighter, more pure colors, and I just loved it. And it was quite a good deal to get the intro set versus buying the tubes, and you know how long watercolor lasts, how long it takes you to go through a tube. And so, so then I went back and I ordered the other Intro 6 sets because the Intro 12 set had some duplicates from what I'd already got. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go into the center. I'm not going to bother drying this yet because I can work on the center while that is drying. I'm going to go, I think I'll use that green gold. And let me just start with the green gold here in the middle. And put a little bit of that down there at the end, bottom. Add a little bit of the, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit of that cobalt. You can see on my palette, I just put out the tiniest little drops of those core colors when I first got them, and it's so intense that you don't need much. So that's another mark of a good paint if you don't need much. I'm not sponsored by Golden, the makers of this paint. I just really like it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, since I've got the color sitting in there, I'm going to take my little bit of credit card. I'm trying not to set my hand in my wet paint. That'll be a challenge. And I'm just going to scrape up the kind of texture detail lines that are there. There. And then I think what I'll do, I want there's also some little spiky things coming out. They almost look white or very, very pale pink next to the flower. So what I think I'm going to do is just kind of paint them in now. Then I can just go around them when I go to paint the petals themselves. I think that's the easiest thing to do. And maybe I'll take a little of that purple and just add it right there to the base of that flower. Just to give it a little bit of shadow. It's going to be the opposite of the gold, so it's going to just naturally gray out. Alrighty, now I think I do need to dry it because if I get next to any of the background where it's still wet, it's going to kind of get fuzzy. So I'm just going to hit it here with my heat gun. A hairdryer is absolutely fine if that's what you have. Go ahead and use it. It's going to work just as well. I'm going to pause it and be back when it's all dry. Okay, you know your paper's dry when you touch it with the back of your hand and it's room temperature. If it feels cool to the touch, then it's still a little bit damp. All right, make sure your brush is clean. I like to squeeze the extra water out with my fingers. That way I still have water in there, but it's, I have, you know, I don't have too much. And then I'm going to wet the petal, and I'm not going all the way to the end because that's where I'm going to add my paint and I want it to be more concentrated there. I'm just going to wet this petal here. With the Neptunes, they are a synthetic, they're meant to mimic sable, but they're synthetic, but they are really thirsty. So like your regular synthetic brushes don't hold as much water as these. So if you are using these for the first time, you do have to kind of get used to that and get used to the fact that they're going to be softer. They're not going to they're not going to be as stiff and bouncy as others. So I'm going right in with the purple here, and I'm going to go around those little pink areas that we kind of reserved and go around that center there. And then the paint's going to start flowing. I guess sometimes I move my, I just move my board. I just clipped my watercolor greeting card down to a board, and I just move it so that I can more comfortably reach the area I want to reach. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that quinacridone rose. I guess I could have had that a little wetter. My paint's not flowing as much as I like it to. You could also tape your paper down. I usually don't bother, unless I'm working larger or I'm going to be spending a lot of time on it. And then I'm going to scrape up some veins. Now I'm looking at that. That's a little pale. You might want to go darker with your colors. Completely up to you. Purple can be a very strong color. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to skip over here to this petal that's not touching anything, and I'm going to wet it. I'm going to have it pretty wet along the edges and not wet at all down near the middle, because that's where I'll start by adding my color. And I want to make sure, again, that I can get around those little pink areas that we reserved. I'm going to get in with my nice, I think this is dioxidone. Yeah, I have like a really, certain words that, it's like the certain words you start, you know, in your head you say them wrong for the beginning, so that it always is what you think in your head. It's like, for the longest time, I thought at the FL, like when you're looking at a bottle of shampoo, like FL ounces. For the longest time I thought that stood for floral ounces, and I just always said floral ounces. Like, and now when I see it written down, I still think floral ounces in my head, which is, you know, very foolish. I'm an adult. It's fluid ounces, not floral ounces. Oh, how nice. Flowery ounces. But you know how you do that? And then so, like, if you mispronounce a word in your head, and that, like, the first time, that's how you always read it. And, you know, if you're an artist who's self-taught, like a lot of us are, you know, we didn't have an instructor saying, get your quinacridone violet out of your palette and begin to paint. Yeah. And instead you got, you know, doofuses like me calling it floral ounces and, you know, dioxanan something, and you're completely lost. The blind leading the blind. I'm wetting my little bud or flower oat. I'm not sure exactly if it's a flower oat seed or a bud or whatever the heck it is, but we're wetting it anyway. Gonna add some of this green gold to it. Gonna just dip that dirty brush right into my violet, not my violet, goodness gracious, my cobalt. And I'm gonna add these little spiky bits. Keep it loose and free, guys. This is a warm-up. We're going to the beach today. No need for anything fussy. That's good. I like it. Alright, now we're gonna wet our little leaves there. We skip around so that our paint has time to dry before we go into the next one, and we don't mess it up. We don't have any runny paint where we don't want it. Now this is the opening of the card down there, so I got to be careful that I don't let the paint slop into the, not that it's the end of the world. I mean, come on, a little paint on the inside of your card, world's going to keep spinning, but, you know, I try to avoid that if I can. Adding my green gold to the highlight area, adding my cobalt and green gold mix to the rest of it, keeping it kind of light. I think I'm going to need to darken it a little bit because I added a background color, and in the photograph the background's white, so I do need a little bit of contrast there. Not a ton, just a little bit. Can add a little bit of the blue on its own to the shadow areas. Can even add some purple in there. That'd give it a really dark look, but it will muddy it a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. Take a little bit of that purple on the tip of my, you know, just give that shadow in there. But you see how it gets a little muddy because they're opposites. Now I'm going to grab my credit card scraper, throw in a few veins. Nothing too fussy. Just a few to give them the hint. Alright, now, yeah, that feels dry, so I'm going to go to that area. Rinse my brush off good, make sure I don't have any thing left over in there. I'm keeping that same brush. Number 8 round, it's a great brush. Just wetting the outer edge of the petal. And then I'm actually going to turn this all the way around so I can attack it the way I want to. I want to keep those pink areas that I painted in. Add my color. Have a concentration of color here too, according to the photo, the center of our petal. I like to add my magenta in there as well, so I'm going to do that. The nice thing about this this paint is that it dries in a really hard cake, but it doesn't pop out of your palette. Like I've had this. This is the lid of my tin that one of the sets came in. And I don't have to worry about it falling, like breaking off and falling out. The binder is called Aquazol, which is different than most watercolor paints. Have gum arabic as the binder, and this is Aquazol, and I think it is a stronger binder. I know it's used a lot in conservation, so it is a safe. It's not like something that's totally newfangled. It's been used for years in conservation of art, but it does seem to be a more strong binder. From what I gather. I'm going to go over to this one because we're dry over there now. Same deal. We're wetting and we're dripping. I really hope the sun comes out. Because I started when I plan on going to the beach, what I do is I like send out emails to all my girlfriends. I'm like, oh, we're going to the beach. And you know, you hate to be the one that organizes something like this and then have it like rain on everybody or have it be cold and miserable. Hopefully the weather is good. It's supposed to be 85 and sunny, but you know, I woke up to rain this morning, so feeling a little concerned. But, ooh, look at that. I completely painted that petal the opposite way. Let's see how that works, shall we? Yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, it'll definitely have a little contrast from the one next to it, won't it? Let's add a little bit of going to the beach in the rain and painting a flower from the opposite direction. What is life? It'll be fine. I'm not worried. I might have to get a paper towel though and do a little blotty. Yeah, here we go. Get a paper towel. Just blot it a little bit. Not a big deal, guys. Just a piece of paper. We're warming up. We're going to the beach. You guys going to the beach? Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Beach in the rain. Although, I always liked swimming in the rain when I was a kid because I always felt like the water was warmer. It's probably just because it was so darn cold on the shore that you just got in the water. As long as it's not thundering, my parents let me. Couldn't keep me out of the water as a kid. Now I'm much happier to be laying on the beach. Alright, this time we're going to actually add our paint in where we're supposed to. That is a little wet, but I think we'll be able to finish it up. And I hope you guys have all been enjoying the hashtag lovesummerart YouTube extravaganza. I have. I've already mentioned that. Oh, it almost looks like I have a little overturned petal there. I want to do that. Yeah, let's put that in there. Sometimes you just see little edges that need to be, you know, dealt with a certain way, and you're like, oh, that would look good. I'm going to do that even if it's not in the picture because I like the way it looks. Okay, now let's take a little look around here, see if anything needs any attention. I think that, so I took that dirty brush, had purple on it, picked up a little bit of that green mix that we made, and I think I want to add just a little bit of detail over here. Nothing fancy. Just a little something. You can add a little bit of veining or anything like that in your leaves if you want to. And then I'm just going to put my initial. That's what I usually do on these watercolor cards, just my initial. I'm doing over here. And then the date. And there you have it. A very quick and easy card that you can paint in, hey, 17 minutes. That's not bad. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you check out the other hashtag lovesummerart videos, because guess what? They're up forever. Even though today's the last day to upload them, they're going to be up forever for you to enjoy, and I hope you do. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and wherever you like to share things. And until next time, happy crafting.